Welcome everybody, welcome to the stream. My name is Jose. I am a golden Kendo. Oh, sorry. I'm a golden in Kendo. And today we're going to be watching some Shiai videos, talking a little bit about approaching your opponent, Shiai strategies, and all this stuff. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask me in the comments. And I'm here to help as much as I can and just give you my thoughts on whatever I can. So welcome everybody that's passing by through the stream. Galaxy, sorry, I didn't send the Discord just because saying like you should go into the Discord, although it's a great place to be. But, you know, I'm just putting it there so everybody knows that we have a Discord server, guys. If you would like to meet new Kendo people or you would like to send me some videos and stuff like that for me to use in the stream and review, I think that's the easiest way. But you can also, if you don't have Discord, you can contact me. Maybe Instagram probably be a good way. I'm setting up, you know, like the emails accounts and stuff like that, so that way it'll be easier. Kristen, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. Again, today is going to be all about implementing good Kendo in Shiai and what are some of the things that we need to do in order to have either a good mindset or a good performance overall during Shiai. Soon, I'm gonna ask everybody if you have any questions. I want to bring in a friend of mine that is a sports psychologist. So I think we're gonna benefit, and she also does Kendo too. So I think we're gonna benefit a lot from that. So if you have any questions that you would like me to ask, you can start sending them my way so I can, you know, prepare a list of questions and all this stuff. Let me just make sure I set myself up properly over here. How's everybody doing? How has your Kendo week been? I would like to know how training is going, events coming up. I know that the Detroit Taikai is coming up, and there's also a Shimpan seminar in California, and I'm preparing myself for a big trip, so I couldn't attend to either of those two, even though I was looking forward to, especially the Shimpan seminar. But, you know, money and such. Bad Erding. I'm gonna call you Bad if that's okay, unless you want me to call you by something else. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. And okay, let me make sure that everything. I'm hoping for a good stream today without any issues that we had last week. Right here, let me show you what we're going to watch. Oh, sorry, this is not it. Right here. Okay, let's see. Yep. Okay. So this is the 7 Dan championship that happened this year. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the link in the chat, so that way if anybody wants to watch the whole thing at some point, you guys can do that. That's something that, you know, I want to provide that there. And here's the bracket for participants. Let me see, maybe you can see. You cannot see the pictures, but okay, I can read you the names and stuff like that. Sorry, my setup for my comments right now is a little bit iffy. Let me find out if I can find a better way to. Galaxy, you missed Kendo practice all week because of Ice Storm Memphis. Oh, do you practice with Register Sensei? I don't know if he's close to your dojo and so on. But yeah, okay, say hi to him from me. That'll be fun. He was here just a few weeks back, so can't wait to see him again. I'm thinking of visiting over there before my trip, just because I love practicing with him. I love talking to him. He's such a great guy. So yeah. Louis, thank you for passing by. I really enjoy all your support. I really appreciate it. You say you really enjoy my blogs. Thank you very much. And I am very well today. I am planning this week. I'm going to see if I can get it out by Monday. But my idea for my video for Monday, it's about impact, to get a better impact. So if you have any questions about that, send it my way. So that way I can, you know, I can also plan those answers within this video. So Galaxy, you're part of the Memphis Kendo Association. Cool, awesome. Yeah. If you see him today, please tell him I say hi, and I think it will be a nice surprise. I need to message him too. Okay. again, the video that we're going to be watching is going to be the 7th All Japan Kendo Championship. And this, I said this last time, I really enjoy watching this level of Kendo because I think there's a very nice mixture between technique and physicality. So, you know, I feel that when you're in the Hachidan tournament, there's a bigger display of technique, but the action is not as fast or as a high pace as it is at this level of tournament. So I think this is a good, healthy mixture. And if, again, I put the link for the video in the comments if you guys would like to watch it. Last week we watched, I feel, the first 2 or 3 matches from the brackets. So right now you're going to watch, let me see. We are at this stage, C1 versus B2, Takahashi and Amashiro. Okay, those 2 fights, and this is the fight that we're watching right now. I'll start in a second. I'm just waiting for little people to see if they can get in before I start the video. By the way, guys, if you haven't, please help out the video by hitting the like button. And if you would like to be part of the Kendo Tips channel and help support, a good way to do so is by becoming a member, and you can check out a couple of extra perks that we have there, and it really helps out, you know, for me to keep making this video and all these things possible. But anyways, we have a few people in the chat, so let's start watching some Kendo. Somebody, I believe in the Discord, asked, what are some strategies for Shiai? What are some of the things that can be done, you know, like in preparation for Shiai, in preparation for a specific match? For me, it's a little bit of a hard question to answer because I try to come in with an empty slate, like with an empty mind into my fight. I don't go and try and say, okay, I'm going to, this guy, maybe I watch his videos and he does a lot of men, so I'm going to do Kaeshi Do. I really don't have this type of mentality as I approach my opponent. What I like to do instead is trying to figure out who this person is at the beginning of the fight, trying to keep a healthy distance, but at the same time, try to pressure my opponent. And I believe you're going to see a little bit of that at the beginning of the match here. So why don't we watch that first and see how we can figure out the points of what they're doing, maybe what we can copy. Guys, welcome to the stream. Thank you for passing by. Okay, so how long has it been since the match started? It's probably been about a good 12-15 seconds, right? And you notice now it's when the first attack happens. So I think at lower levels, or maybe even like high school, college tournaments, you will see that a lot of the competitors kind of just get up and go. Right? I think that this works until certain level of Kendo. At some point, that person is going to understand distance, going to understand timing, and understand a good kamae. So if you come in blindly, it could produce an opportunity for them to strike you. So you notice as the fight starts, they're not rushing in to cross swords, right? So, one of the things that I noticed a lot is that people tend to want to just come in and close into this distance as quick as possible. This is okay, depending on the situation and what you're trying to do, but understand that if you're rushing into this distance, you're putting yourself at risk for your opponent to either attack you as you're approaching, or also make you react and then have an opening for you. So if you see what's happening here, one thing that is happening is that, okay, if you see this exchange, one thing that is happening is that they're not rushing into the attack. They're not rushing into a technique. They are understanding, not being passive, but they're trying to understand what is happening from the opponent, who this person is, and what is it that they're trying to do. So as you see, they come in and they start approaching the distance, but with short steps, understanding the center, trying to get a reaction, but not necessarily committing into a technique yet. Okay? As now, this, if you're gonna watch the person on the left, I mean the person on the right, he does a little bit of that sharp step and holds, right? He steps in and holds. This is gonna get a reaction from red. It's gonna make red react. Watch. I don't know if this is very clear or evident because it's very, very small, right? So what I'm saying with that is that there's going to be a little bit of a push, pull in between them. But this is a moment of high tension. The fight just started and you're still getting to know who this person is. This person could shoot at any moment. And you have to be aware of what is happening at that moment. So at this point, there was the first, let's say, attack with the body. It didn't lead to a technique because there was no opening. He notices that if he goes to attack, he's going to be wide open for a counter because that other person is prepared. So at this point, there still hasn't really been any attacks. And now we get our first exchange. So as this happens, it's a combination of what we've seen together so far. Both of them, they start closing the distance slightly. They start fighting for that center, trying to get a reaction from the opponent, going around their sword and so on. And when there is this opening, now that's when they're starting with the attack. So notice as well that they're attacking. They're attacking with strength, with explosivity, but still hasn't been a clear opening, so I don't feel that they're really committing into a technique yet, right? This is very interesting. Let's see. If you're somebody that if you rushed into a person, you run the risk of that person countering you. So I think this is a good example of that, of what could happen. Watch white, he attacks. White attacks, he didn't really make an opening. He went in for that kote. Maybe he was at a good distance, but red was ready. I believe that it was close for him to actually get the contact with the kote. But the point is that red is being aware of what's happening and ready to counter. So you have to be understanding of how to catch the opponent at a bad moment, at a frozen situation, or trying to see it to get a little bit of a reaction so you can safely come in and then have a good follow through. It's not about just making contact with the target, right? Guys, you say you learned that by getting hit by the Bana Kote twice in a match. The match lasted less than 30 seconds. Yep, this happens. You have to understand. But interesting enough, you cannot be afraid either, right? So you have to let them know that you still have the opportunities, you still have the ability to do this, but you have to find the balance between making them have an opening or freeze or you to sneak your distance in order to have that opening. Louis, well, you become a member soon. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So Red to me in this match looks very strong. I feel that he's a little bit more in control of the timing of the fight. He's been getting a little bit more reactions from White. Now all of that can change in any second, right? What do you guys think? I really like his kamae. Look at this deflection as during kamae. This is one of the things that I'm working myself on to being at all times ready. So let me tell you something. When you're at this distance and your opponent does something, it's very easy for somebody to have an overreaction, right? Maybe a little push can cause a big opening. But having the ability to stay calm, relax, but at the same time have tension on the right places can allow you to counter or at least block and deflect your opponent's incoming attack. So if you watch this, I'm gonna put it a little bit slow motion. Oh, sorry. Let me go back a little bit again. So you see, he was able to catch the attack for the kote, block the kote, and he almost put himself in a good situation to attack men. Talking about Red, by the way. See, now granted, White, maybe a little bit of tension, nervous, he blocks up and doesn't give Red a good opening. Needless to say, Red is ready for that. And again, not any extra tension. He's still aware of his opponent, putting pressure forward, trying to control the timing. Discipline. Amashihiro has the advantage because he's closest to the shushin of the core, showing good core awareness. Okay, I can understand that. But it's interesting because at this point, both are kind of taking the center, right? So Red was a little bit to the edge, and then he pushes into the center. Normally when you have one player that is highly dominant, that person will stay in the center and the other Kenshi would be going around the court, right? So I feel like at this point, both of them have a strong feeling, a strong sense of taking the center and coming into the fight. It's a very tense situation. So now I feel that the match is kind of evening out. Both of them are kind of landing on the same level of energy and kind of falling into similar patterns. Now, this is dangerous once one of them realizes this and changes the timing. So I feel that White now is kind of shifting a little bit his approach. Very good. Oh my God. Okay. So, very good opening. And again, he threw something that was completely different. I'm going to tell you this. Normally in Shiai, you can throw something different out of frustration because maybe you feel you try so many things that you need to try something different and you end up doing something that you don't really know or you don't really you don't feel comfortable doing this thing, so you do it out of desperation. This is the wrong time or the wrong way or approach to try something new in the court. Ideally, what you want to do is to try to plan out your openings, and this is how you avoid this frustration of wasting your techniques, right? So if you, for example, you're throwing men, but you throw 20 different ways of hitting men and all of them get deflected, mentally you start kind of like putting yourself down. But if instead you're working on how can I make my opening for the men, right? And throw the men when you feel that there's that opening, it kind of have a little bit of a different approach. And I feel a little bit of that is what's happened here. He is coming for the men. He's been throwing the men, but now he's trying some different ways of making an opening. So let's watch this one more time. By the way, this is something that I experienced a lot when I was in Japan. And the first time you see this happening to you is so confusing. And I don't blame Red for kind of like falling into it. Let's watch it. So, discipline. Looks like Amashihiro used his core awareness to pressure and score that man. Tell me, what do you mean about using his core awareness? Because for what I understand, core awareness is for understanding how the core is set up, where the edge is going to be, and so on. But what do you mean about using his core awareness to score that man? Because to me, it was more about understanding his pressure and understanding what can he do to create an opening from his opponent. I don't agree that it's about core awareness. But please let me know what are your thoughts on that. So, how would you call this technique? Feel some people would say Katsugi, right? Very, very interesting use of the technique. Now, this is the part that I feel makes it successful and makes it confusing for your opponent. Is the fact that he's not, when he is approaching his opponent, he's not just, okay, in order to create that opening, he's not just moving his hand. He's not just moving his hands. He's creating pressure not only with the motion of his sword, but also with his body, with his distance, with his approach. So if you look at how he performs this, the timing, it's almost like he's doing kote men, right? So he even approaches the first movement with a fumikomi. So a lot of people, when they do this technique, when they try to make an opening by making a large motion with the sword, they don't really use their body. By coming in with this confidence, by coming in with this motion, creates the confusion in two fronts. One, because now he has to be wary of where the sword might come, right? So he may end up having to, or thinking that he has to block on the right. But at the same time, he's getting that pressure from his opponent So he has to also adjust the distance, and all of this makes it so what's the word? Makes it so overwhelming. Distance, throwing in the body, the use of the hands, all of this together, the confidence makes it so he's able to create an opening and come on in. Guys, I'm sorry, I cannot read Korean. I don't know if you can write it on English letters. I'll appreciate that. Discipline. Whoever is the closest to the shushin or their back is to the shushin controls the flow and the real state of the court, not giving your opponent not too many options for movement. I don't agree. I don't agree because I feel that the court right now is wide open. They were both close to the center. They were both kind of like on the what's it called? They were not close to the edge of the court. They can rotate. Both of them could rotate in any direction they wanted to, but I don't think it had to do with the court awareness. It had to do with him making him hesitate and make an opening for himself. Very, very nice reaction there.
先ほど1本取った吉野選手が1本取った担ぎ技みたいなの得意なんですよ。こう担いで古典とか担いでね、すごく得意な選手です。
勝つのってやっぱりそのタイミングで動きますからね。
はい。
So I feel right now, Red is being okay. So at this point, and in this point, I'm gonna say that White, is doing more control of the court at this point. Why? Because he just made his opponent, he's staying in the center, dead center on the court, and he's making his opponent rotate around him. Now, will this give him the opportunity to make an ippon? I don't think it's about the court. I think it's about the moment of confidence, how he's confident in the court. So his opponent decides to just get away because he feels pressure that he has to do something, he has to score. So now he does have a little bit more control of the fight. And by result, then he ends up having the center of the court. But I think that both of them equally have an opportunity to score a technique. Interesting question, guys. Do you have any experience with Koto style Shinai? I kind of think that these Kenshis also are also using Koto. Let me see if okay, give me 1 second. Okay, hold on. Oh, sorry. Okay, I think it's an interesting question because I feel like there's a lot of confusion when it comes to what Shinai should I use. So this is a dough body, right? And the tip is not too too thin, but also not too thick either, right? This one is a Koto Shinai. And again, it has a little bit more of a straight body. It's a little bit thicker, but see. It's a super crazy do body style, right? So I'm gonna give you a little bit of backstory on this one. This one, a friend of mine that I made on Osaka Police, went with me to buy it at their shop that they get their shinai. So this is, I'm gonna say, close to the style or the style that he uses, right? And a lot of the police officers are using this type of shinais in the Osaka Police. This one was from the Korean. This was the one that the Korean team was using in Japan, and the other one is the Koto. So, for my understanding, and guys, you said the bandages in Gata. So I understood when I was in Japan last time is that yes, they were making a little bit more restrictions when it came of how thick the body of the shinai can be. So at the end of the day, a lot of it depends on how do you feel with the shinai. I personally hate this shinai. Okay, not only for the fact that it's not durable at all, right? As a matter of fact, when I bought it just to see it and like experiment for the videos and so on. But when I bought it, they told me don't use it for practice because you're going to break it. I used it maybe like once or twice, and I hate it because it feels very flimsy on the way that it moves around. So I tend to gravitate for a little bit of more of a thinner dough body like this one, because I feel that it has a little bit of a, it's not to have a little bit, it has a lot better control and a lot better impact. But if you're looking for a little bit more of a solid impact, I guess the Koto will be the one that you will be looking for. But at the end of the day, it's how comfortable you feel with it and how it adapts to the type of kendo you're doing. Because I feel that a lot of times when people want to have a harder strike, they go for the Koto style. But then they also kind of overcompensate the light of strikeness and then just kind of push a lot with the right hand. So this one, they end up over swinging a lot more and being a little bit sloppier with it. Not necessarily because of the shinai itself, but because what they're trying to do. So I would say it's a thing of personal preference. If I have to practice, I will go with any shinai, and when I compete, I just try to go with the shinais that I'm feeling comfortable at that point. So, as a matter of fact, I found the shinai that I used for the first time I joined the World Championship, and I was using very thick grip. And then for the last time, I was using this type of shinai, the one that I just showed you. Right now, I'm experimenting with the octagon shinai, and I'm liking it. They're a little bit thicker than this one, so I wonder how I'm going to feel about switching back to to a regular or a thinner grip. These ones are not a thin grip, but it's just not thick. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyways, guys, if you're getting some value from this, or if you want to help out, please hit the like button. It really helps out this video to be pushed out to more people out there. Discipline said you like the balance and durability of the Koto style. Yeah, they tend to be more durable because they tend to have a little thinner tip, the Jisengata, but you can also get the dough body without the shaved tip. Gas, you bought a Koto in Korea and your men's feel and sound better. Not entirely sure that you're using it correctly though. I think I'm not gonna say that you have to learn how to use a style of shinai different than the other. I think they are about how you feel with them, right? I feel that you can be, for example, like as I'm saying with the thick do body, I feel that I'm much like I'm less accurate with it than if I am with a regular do body or even with like a regular practice shinai. It is very light. It makes it very light, and I guess that's nice, especially if you're going to do like a lot of kakari geiko and stuff like this. I would use it. As a matter of fact, a long time ago, I read a research about speeding kendo, and they were saying that in order to have faster attacks, you should get used to practicing with a lighter shinai rather than a heavier shinai. So that way your body, the premise behind it is that your body can learn how it feels to move at that speed, and then it will be easier for you to control your little bit heavier shinai or your regular practice shinai. And normally people, especially back then, they used to think that, okay, heavier shinai means you're going to be faster because the shinai feels lighter after. But it has to be a mixture of both. You have to create the muscle mass, whatever, and then you also have to adapt your body for, fast motions and, practice. That's what it is. Westblade, thank you for passing by. Appreciate you visiting. Second member from Memphis today. You got octagonal shinais. Yeah, I got them from Nathan as well. By the way, if anybody buys anything from California Budogu, Kendo Tips, use the code Kendo Tips 10. You're going to get a 10% discount in orders over $200. I don't get anything back, so I don't think I'm doing that for money. I'm just passing that along. You know what's funny? I actually need to write Nathan about it because he sold me 3 of those shinais, and I've been using one of those shinais for I don't know how long already. I'm like, I want this shinai to break so I can use a new one, but it's just not breaking. Anyways, okay, just to refresh everybody, the fight that we are on right now is Takahashi and Amashihiro. So I guess I spoiled it by showing you that Amashihiro wins. He already has 1 point on top. Let's see. Westblade or Paul, yeah, I think I'm gonna stay with the octagonals, but I kind of want to go back to a little bit of a thinner grip, just to try, just experiment.
時間的にもう、はい、
Just a little bit thinner. And that was time. Now, I'm going to say this. How do you create pressure against an opponent when you're being defensive, right? Look, a lot of people, when they are trying to be defensive during a match, a lot of people, when they're trying to be defensive within a match, one thing they start doing is going backwards, right? And this can put you in a very dangerous position because then you can get stroke. Especially if you're the type of people that when you're going backwards, you drop the tip as well a little bit. This can put you in a really bad position. My idea of kamae during a fight, whether it's that I'm trying to be proactive or I'm trying to be defensive, let's just call it like that. It's that anytime when I'm in kamae, I try to make sure that I'm always pushing forward. And if I don't find that there's a moment for me to attack, I try to control my opponent, whether it is by adjusting my line of attack, so maybe moving to the side, or also suppressing their sword. So one thing that you're going to see here is that even though white is being defensive, he still has an intention to go forward. That's what makes red hesitate. So to answer my own question of how can you put pressure while you're being defensive is that you always have to have the ability to go forward if you wanted to, and you need to make your opponent feel that. So as he goes back, okay, he's going back, but immediately he tries to set down his back foot so he can push forward. He's gonna need very little adjustment if he wants to change his direction. As you see, he goes forward and backwards pretty much seamlessly, right? And as you go back, don't take long steps. Just make sure that you have control steps as you're going backwards if you need to. And I believe right before the bell rings. Okay, so a little bit before that. Watch the sword work as well. Oh, not here, sorry. So watch how he tries to control the sword as well. See? So let's go a little bit on slow motion. He tries to control from one side, controls from the other side, going around again, and then he tries to put pressure forward. So that combination between Shinai control and at the same time having the ability to go forward makes his opponent very hesitant. And this is a tool that you can start practicing in the dojo now. All you have to do is just to make sure that you always want to go forward towards your opponent rather than being defensive and rather than being going back all the time. You want to make sure that your opponent knows that you can come in, and especially if you take control of their sword, that puts them in a very scary situation because they know you can come forward, but now you also have their sword. So this also ends up making a lot of overreactions where they're gonna lift the tip a lot and stuff like that. So you wanna make sure that you understand this communication so you can take advantage of that. Hope that makes sense. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I hope that makes sense. And please let me know what you think. Guys, just can wrap your head around, you go forward, but apparently you don't do much with your Shinai. Okay. Are you a tall person? Just wondering. Just random question. And the reason why I ask that is because I feel that sometimes it feels uncomfortable for tall people to come in and they feel like they get stuck on their shinais. As they approach, they get stuck on their shinais, and it makes them like where, they don't feel like confident to pretty much do an attack. For me, sorry guys, I don't know the average Korean height because I have a lot of tall Korean friends, so like 175. Sorry man, I'm completely ignorant with, even though I'm from Venezuela, I'm completely ignorant with the metric system. So 175, 2 feet. Okay, 5'7". So no, yeah, okay. So I guess if you're average with your, I got it. You're 5'7", literally like 5'7.5", almost. Yeah, I guess 5'7" for in feet. And okay, so maybe, especially if you're average and everybody is kind of like around your same height, this might not be the case. What I'm talking about. One thing that I like to do to make sure that hold on, give me 1 second. That I like to make sure is that I am keeping my intention forward. Let me see. That I'm keeping my intention forward with my left hand, right? So a lot of people, when they are holding their shinai, I'm sorry, like I don't have another camera right now to show you from the side, but if I'm keeping my left hand engaged forward and then my right one relaxed, understanding that my goal, it's always to go in for men, right? Even though I'm not always going for men, but I'm always thinking I want to threaten the men. So as I'm getting close, I'm concerned about the shinai of my opponent, but only to take it away so I can go in. Or also to understand that if they're coming in what can I do to deflect an attack? So I think the mindset of having your left hand engaged and always having the thought of I'm going to attack could help you with that. But I will need to watch a video to see what you mean specifically, because it's kind of hard to just, get an image from just reading this. But as you see, white is coming in. This is a very cool. Okay, just as a reminder, guys, when you're at this distance, it's very easy. It's very easy to overreact. So I feel like there was an overreaction, but the cool thing about this overreaction is that he's trying to provoke him to come for men, right? So he's in a very close distance. He feels he's gonna come for men. But now, before that, if you notice, look what happens. From Kamae, he takes half a step forward and look at the sword. He tries to push him to the side. Then from here, he's kind of just holding his position and he's thinking about doing a Kaeshi do. So maybe this is one of the reasons why you want to make sure that you don't go already with an idea that this is what you're going to do. But I feel that the pressure and the interaction there was very nice, very on point. Okay, let's go to the next fight. And guys, okay, just send me the video and I'll watch it and we can talk a little bit more about that. Again, okay, so in this one, I feel we're talking about approaching your opponent, right? In this one, I feel that Red approached his opponent quite fast, but he didn't just blindly rush in. Look at the stepping. Look at how he tries to find that opening by having just tiny steps. And what that does, it gives him the opportunity to explode if he needs to. So, guys, if you watch the footwork here, this is so interesting because doing this type of footwork, it can get you very tense. It can make your calf on fire. But you have to learn how to do this fluidly and in a way that is going to be tense and relaxed at the same time. I don't know if you can see it because there's the bar here of the YouTube bar. There. Watch it in a slow motion. You see how he brings his back foot forward every time, how he re-engages it, whether he's doing it short or long. This is very, very important to do if you want to be able to be explosive towards your opponent. If you manage to learn how to do this without exhausting yourself, you're going to have the ability to have many, many opportunities that you can take, whether it is that you made your opponent make a mistake or the opponent made the mistake on his own. You're going to be able to just capitalize that on the moment if you can do this. So let me know if you actually get to practice this and what will be your Kendo tips to make this happen more comfortably for everybody. Kakarigeko, welcome to the chat. Thank you very much for passing by. You said you had a similar issue. In your case, it was excessive movement. Your sensei advice was that if you know the exact purpose of each of your steps, the Shinai will follow. I like that. Because again, you want to approach your opponent with the intention of attacking. So if you're just approaching for approaching, this is not going to be successful, right? And discipline, classic match, Uchimura versus Kiwara. Yeah, very. I gotta remember, these are very strong players from both of their police prefectures. Osaka against Tokyo. So
崩して崩してこう
yeah, Uchimura has this ability to move like this. It's very impressive. I love this.
どう対応していくか
I want to copy it.
二人とも全日本の優勝者ですか
はい手の内は本当に分かりきっていると思いますので
Listen, you see the height difference between Uchimura and Kiwara, between red and white. So Uchimura, it's on red, by the way. Watch how far he lunges. Right? He's going in for that lunge. Now, a lot of these lunges, I personally don't like to use them too many times, too often, because it can be very predictable.
いいんですよねなので
That being said, I think that it was a great moment right now, especially to keep putting pressure on Kiwara, on white.
またね木村さんのちょっとこうなん顔をちょっと斜めにしてね立ちスタイルとこの掛け声とねっていう
内村って感じですね
Let me ask you something. Do you practice to have attentiveness towards your opponent at every second, every moment of your shiai, your jigeko, or your testing? Especially for testing, this is something that's going to let the judges know that you are there, that you are in the moment and you know what you are doing. If you, for example, you disengage from Tsubasari in a very relaxed manner, not only you're a danger that your opponent can attack you, but also it kind of lets people know that you're not really into it. But if you watch how these two are separating,
この掛け声とねっていう
内村って感じです
there's a little bit of tension on each step, and you can see that both of them are being very attentive of every move that their opponent can make. Okay, hope that makes sense. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, because let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this is something that I see many times at the dojo. People just cannot take for granted, especially too after an attack. When they turn around, they just come back and just walk into a kamae. You should be able to, after you attack, you turn around kamae and you start trying to communicate that pressure from back then, from back there. And also, please, as you approach your opponent, this is not the moment for kamae. This is not the moment for attention. As a matter of fact, if you watch my video on kamae, we talked about kigamae and migamae. So we're talking about all the physical kamae and also the mental kamae. Your kamae, mentally and physically, should not start here. You shouldn't just come in here. You should start before you touch your sword, and then you come in with that attention and readiness towards your opponent. That is what's going to not only keep you safe and have the ability to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves, but also, especially for testing, judges will notice this and understand that you are there in the moment and you're looking to do better in this fight. You're looking to make sure that you take opportunities and you are there. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Okay, before I start rambling, I'm gonna move on. Kakarieko, Uchimura, and Kiwara are Katsugi men enjoyers. Interesting enough. I see more Uchimura as that. Sorry, you have had a bad habit of jumping into conversation without saying hello. No, man. That's what we're here for. Thank you for passing by. Guess, what do you mean at which tab should you upload? Oh, you mean in the Discord? If you want me to use it for review here in the live stream, send it to me in a private message. That will be the best. If not, I guess you can just do it in Kendo general, like all any type that is relevant to, or Kendo techniques maybe. Discipline. Uchimura experienced Kiwara's height and Kotewaza during the finals of the All Japan. That's why they are both cautious of each other. Yeah, and I think they matched up together several times, if I'm not mistaken. Kakarieko, they also been in the same national team for a while and met each other in training Shai many times. Yeah, totally. And remember that what's it called? Police stations. They also do like internal Shiais. I was lucky enough to witness a few of those, and I'm sure like Tokyo and Osaka do a lot of those. I think I was there for a total of 5 months, and I was able to see that I knew that they were happening, and I was there, I think 3 times. So I'm sure that maybe they do it once a month or something like this. Yeah, man, like if I tell you all the luck that I had myself when I was in Japan, it's unbelievable. I got to meet so many people, and I don't know how, I don't know why. It's just I was just lucky being in the right place, right time, and right attitude.
稽古する姿を拝見してますけれども、もう内村選手の方が圧倒的に攻めていきますから。そうですか。
Very nice approach. Very nice approach. Whoa. Okay. So, guys, I always like to I don't know how to say this. The timing for kotemen, right? The rhythm for kotemen. We will practice kotemen. There's many ways and many rhythms that we can use. But the one I feel that we normally try to achieve, or like the basic that we try to achieve, is a continuous kotemen, right? Like pop, pop. So I think that this rhythm, and I'm gonna call it the rhythm of Kendo, this rhythm is very important. Not necessarily because, this rhythm is very important, and it can be transferred into so many techniques. So if you notice, this approach, it's using that rhythm. Right? Like, I don't know if you hear it. I don't know if you see it. Like, pop, pop. So maybe the first technique is not even meant to be a successful technique. It could be a feint. It could be just a throwaway waza to make the opening for the technique itself. But what that does, having that rhythm, is that number one, you are connecting something that you are already training to make it continuous. And number two, what it does as well, is that it sets you up, it sets your footwork up for continuity. It also it helps you have a lot of control in your body and strength as you push in. Let's watch it slow motion. Even the footwork is the same footwork for kotemen. You couldn't see it. This little bar, hold on. Does that make sense? It is such a useful tool to be able to understand this timing, understand the footwork, understand the positioning, in order to utilize it more than just for kotemen. You can use this for suriage, for harai. You can use it for katsugi. You can use it for many different techniques in order to make that opening. And one of the most important things that this does, of having the ability to do this, is that it sets you up to not just throw the first fake technique. Let's just say that you're using it to throw. Let's say that you're using it to do a throwaway technique to then attack your correct or your do your waza. but it helps you understand how you should be moving in to move the body first and then the sword, not just throwing the hand. So it helps you understand to throw the body even with your fake technique as if is an actual technique. Of course, you want to throw a technique and you want to have, a good control on it, but it's just something that I found that it connects with so many things. So let me know your thoughts on this. I think it's very beneficial to have this, and also will help your mindset for Rensoku Wasa in general. Discipline, you say right with the rhythm. Miyamoto Musashi mentions that rhythm in the water book. I need to go back and reread the water book. As a matter of fact, we're lucky here in Miami. We have one of the Scott Wilson, I believe that's his full name. I think he did a translation, but he also did a biography of Musashi based on the Book of Five Rings. He lives here in Miami, and he actually he visits the dojo once in a while. So I actually need to maybe see if I can get him to do a live stream here. That would be kind of cool. Kakarieko, that dance sound, as Kaji Tani likes to call it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can. I think I heard that before. Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. But I think this rhythm is so important, guys. It's so important, and if you look for this rhythm, you're gonna see it in so many different things. If you look for this rhythm, you will hear it, you will see it in so many different things, so many different techniques. Actually, if you do find this, please send me a video, send me a link with this rhythm, and maybe we can discuss this even further. Actually, that would be kind of fun. I think that would be a fun thing to do, so please do that. If you find videos with this rhythm, send them my way. I'll appreciate it. Guys, you saying you send some videos, I can review them. I think it comes in line with the leg engagement. Okay, cool. I'll do that. Maybe today we're running a little bit out of time, so maybe I won't be able to do it today. But I'll message you first, okay?
ちょっときちっと捉えられなかったですね。
多分あそこ今のところですね。で出花というか、入り花を清原選手は絶対狙っていくと思うんです。
いいタイミングでしたね。
Discipline. I agree 100%. That rhythm, it's necessary for Ojiwasa. Yes, please, everybody, watch for this rhythm and try to find it. I'm sure we'll experience it here more as well.
心理の時のやっぱ集中力はね、2人とも。
はい。そうないとやっぱり全日本選手権は取れないと思います。
そうですね。それをもう経験してる2人ですからね。その2人の対戦ですから。
Oof. Oh. This deserves a little bit of slow motion. Galaxy, welcome back. This is such an interesting breakdown of the timing, the balance, and the understanding of how to move the sword around to make contact. It wasn't scored as an Ippon, but I think it's definitely a great showing on how to put together moving your body and as well controlling your sword. So I feel that this, normally many people will be able to do this. They will strike down with this Fumikomi that you're about to hear. But instead of doing that, he held his hands back and hit after. What this does is that it throws off the timing. many times, especially at this high level, right? Maybe they will expect the attack at certain time. So they, let's say they plan to do Suriage Men. So this breaking of timing would be enough for them to do the Suriage without getting any contact and then reopen when they try to come in for the men. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm expressing myself fully, but this change of timing on the strike can open so many doors if you understand how to do it. Now, that being said, good posture and good connection between your body and your hands is very important in order to get a successful strike, a good impact, and then also for the judges to award it Ippon. Discipline. The rhythm is like, would you rather play a quarter note or a double 8 note to that Ishibyoshi feeling? Yeah, and you know, that's why I kind of say that Kendo is a lot like jazz, right? Because you don't have to be on time with everything necessarily, and a lot of things they kind of create a different rhythm. So, for example, Kaeshido, you have a little bit of a different rhythm between the hikitsuke, the fumikomi, and the receiving of the sword and the impact as well, right? So, yes, I like this analogy. I'm just afraid that many people that are not into music may not get it. I did go to school for music, so that's why I understand it. So this is such a good breaking of the. So it's almost like he's doing the impact with the hikisuke, but also does a second fumikomi. So if you see, he does a second fumikomi with the technique. So a lot of the stuff, you know, you have to be understanding of proper footwork, proper technique. And I'm saying this because I know, like, for example, if I want to try it out, if I want to try to do this, I need to be able to understand what's happening, because I don't want anybody to just copy things and try things without understanding and then end up creating bad habits. Please don't create bad habits. It just takes longer to get them out of your way, out of your system. Now, who asked me if it was because he was hitting the atama? Let me see. You asking me why is that kote no ippon, and then Gas, you asking me was it because he hit the atama? Let's break it down. It could also be because the judges were not in the right position to see it, but let's see. I don't think so. This judge right here, he can clearly see it. I believe this judge can see it too. I think it has a really good impact. So to be honest, have no idea. It could. Sorry. Let's see. I have no idea. And as a matter of fact, you can tell that Kiwara was confused too, right? Like he looked back at the judges. But yeah, no ippon.
本当に、はい、フランクで。実は来週も清田選手と私一緒で、少年剣道の指導を清田先生と松脇先生にちょっとお願いしてまして。
フランクな楽しい方ですよね。
すごく子供たちがすごく引きつけられてですね、2人の掛け合いというか大好評。
Also, and I'm gonna mention this, especially because we're talking about that rhythm in Kendo. Once you understand this rhythm, then you can also understand how to break it. A little bit of kind of what Discipline was saying, right? Like, so you have that rhythm like pop pop. So if you watch this kote man, this attempt for the kote, but in two, it's kind of like seme to men and then kote. You're gonna see that it's not pop pop. It's gonna be like pop. Oh,
代になってき
did
て
I?
るし
Sorry, I think I passed it.
ですね、2人の掛け合いというか。
Right? It's not pop pop. It's like pop pop. It's a little. It's so subtle, such a little difference. But the reason why I like to talk about rhythm is, and this is a personal thing, is because again I studied music, so for me like remembering a rhythm is very easy, and then replicating that rhythm with my body, it works for me. So what I'm saying this only so you can understand, try to understand what works for you and see how can you apply this and try to steal all these things for yourself.
今度は返し技の方に。
今のね、
はい。
あれでちょっと
That was crazy. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, watch it one more time.
返し技の方に。
今のね、
はい。
あれでちょっと
So I would like to ask, what do you guys see from this exchange? That was a crazy exchange. Very interesting. Let's watch it on slow motion. If you can start letting me know what you see.
返し技はい。
あれでちょっと
Such a subtle motion to get that strike. The contact comes into that man. The fact that the judges were able to catch on to that man, like in this mess, let's just call it, it is a very, very, very interesting. It shows their level. So, Gas, you're saying Kote no Kimen. I don't know. I think he tried to do kind of like a suriage to move the sword out, maybe to deflect the sword. He definitely tried to deflect the sword, but didn't work. But didn't work on deflecting it, but he worked on moving the target away. But what made it so interesting, what makes it interesting for me to go back and watch this is specifically how he is able to move the sword and move the target away, but keeping the edge and the intention towards his opponent. If you watch, the sword, it's in perfect position for him to just pull the left hand and strain the sword and directly goes for men. So it's effortless. Takes very little effort to do that, right? And he's able to just do that with his wrist, fingers, and already with the extension that he had on his hands. So it goes to show the importance to not taking the intention away from your opponent. What I mean by this, a lot of times when people are trying to do deflections, trying to do blocks, instead of keeping the intention or keeping the edge of the sword towards the opponent, they end up kind of like just getting it away. So whether it's up, the tip outside, makes it very hard. If you watch this exchange, the tip was coming in with the intention that all he had to do was to just tenouchi, extend the arms, pull with the left hand, and create the impact. Very easy to readjust back into center, rather than if you're here, you have to do a lot of movement. You have to do a lot of movement to come back into the technique. Hope that makes sense. Let me know. Let me know if you have any questions. That's the very, very important, very interesting exchange right here. Discipline. Kote otoshimen. That was too fast for me, even in slow-mo. I don't even think he did the otoshi, right? Because I think he tried to maybe like do like maybe over kaeshi. He tried to just deflect going out on the side. See, he tried to deflect with his tip on the right, but the intention is with his hands forward and the tip is being set up to go into the attack right there. Now, very, very interesting exchange. Let's watch it again on like regular speed.
あのね、
はい。
あれでちょっと
Now, interesting enough, hold on.
今度は返し技の方に。
今のね、
はい。
あれでちょっと
今度は返し。
Let's see if we can see, look at the footwork of Uchimura.
あれでちょっと
今度は返し技の。
Don't look at the sword. Look at the feet right now.
はい。
あれでちょっと
That transition between the approaching step and the technique, it's very important in order to give him the stability to do the deflection and move the sword back into balance. If you watch, he's supporting himself on the back leg as he's approaching. Then he immediately brings back the back leg to keep going forward and holding his weight while he's moving into the technique. He's not deflecting and then attacking. He's doing those at the same time. He's coming in with both at the same time to attack for that man. Discipline, you said Uchimura did the rhythm. Actually, funny enough, and let's hear it. Let's hear it together. But I don't think he did the rhythm. I think it was a combination between what Kiwada is. I think it was a combination between what Kiwada did and what Uchimura did that produced that rhythm. Watch and listen.
はい。
あれでちょっと
Right? It's like the Fumikomi of Kiwara, pop, and then the man of Uchimura. So it's like pop, pop, yes. But it's like attack, counter. So again, that rhythm, it's everywhere, man.
今のね、
はい。
あれでちょっと
So on that note, he didn't produce the rhythm physically, but the rhythm was there in Uchimura because this was the rhythm where the deflection should have been. So if he would have made contact with the sword, he would have made that rhythm, right? He would have made that sound. So the rhythm, you're right, Uchimura did do the rhythm, but we heard the rhythm from the exchange of both of them, which again, it does show the integration of all of this into what we do. So please pay attention to that as you practice, as you try to replicate that rhythm and see if that actually brings you any benefits, and then come back and let me know. I will love to hear about that. Guys, so it's a duet. Yes, and that's one of the things that in Kendo, we're not by ourselves. This is one of the things that I think it took me a little bit of it took me a little bit of time to understand that you don't go in. Kendo has to have two people, right? So you don't go in with the idea, I am going to go for men, then come in and then do men. You have to approach your opponent and understand where the opening is, or where can you make an opening. You cannot come in from the moment that they say Hajime and say, I'm going to come for men, because you need to communicate, you need to understand what is happening with you and with your opponent. So in a sense, you cannot be greedy and say, this is what's going to happen. You have to have a communication, and literally, like in communication, you have to give and take, you have to go back and forth to understand who gets the point. Crazy Ippon though. Crazy amazing Ippon though.
肩落としましたね。
まあ時間的にまたここからもうね時間もないところで
不用意にはねいけ
いけないですから
ませんし、
ね。
Oh,
この辺の攻防
he's ready. He's ready.
ケバ来るっていうのは多分ケバ選手分かってますから。
And that's all she wrote. This is something very, very important to understand, guys, is that especially when you're trying to be defensive, you don't want to just be holding back. You see, at this last section of the fight, Uchimura is trying to be defensive in the sense of he wants to hold his point because he already knows I'm ahead. So if he is ahead and then is defensive on the way that he's going backwards all the time, he can be in a really bad situation. Also, mentally, you start kind of putting yourself down, right? Actually, that's a good question to ask when I have my friends, the sports psychologists, talk about all this stuff, because the mindset and the readiness can come down. You have to come in and be always eager to take a point, and your opponent needs to feel this because now he's under pressure that he needs to attack, but also he's under pressure that he can get attacked, and he already knows that you can attack him and actually score. So this kind of creates a battle. On the flip side of that, what do you do when you're under, when you have already been hit and you're 1 point down? The best thing you can do is just do your kendo. Don't change what you train yourself to do in order to desperately get an ippon. You still have to follow the basics that you trained yourself. Communicate, understand what's happening with the opponent, try to make the opponent make a mistake and capitalize on their mistake. Don't just throw yourself into a technique because then you can expose yourself even further into getting hit. Hope that makes sense. Let me know, please, in the comments. How do you approach your opponent once you're down? And how do you approach them differently once you're at the same level or above? Like you have an ippon on your favor, 0-0, or 1 below. Let me know. That'll be a very interesting topic to discuss, I believe. Let me say, guys, I'm gonna put again the link to become a member if you would like to become a member of the stream to help support this channel and help me bring more videos and more content to you guys. But also I have the Discord server that the link should be popping up soon. There it's completely free. You don't have to there's no payment, but you can come in there, send me videos, send me questions, meet other kendo people, especially when you travel. I think it's a great connection tool. So that being said, guys, let me know if you have any questions. This is what I wanted to bring for you today. I still have a couple more matches that I'm gonna integrate on my next stream. I think I'll be doing my next stream on Tuesday. I'll try to do one on Tuesday. I'm trying to come consistently to do Tuesday streams as well for different time zones, but it's been a little bit hard, work and stuff like this. But let me know if you have any questions, send them my way. Again, my goal for today was to try to look at how Kenshis approach each other during Shiai. In my experience, you don't want to approach blindly to your opponent. You want to understand what is happening, but you also want to always be pressuring forward against your opponent, whether you're trying to hold your ippon or whether you're trying to make an opening to score because you're under. You always want to be pushing into your opponent, trying to make them feel uncomfortable. This way you have chances of making them make a mistake or catching them. If they make a mistake, you're ready to go immediately as they are moving, as they are making that mistake. Hope that makes sense, guys. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. But if not, I'm gonna call it a day. I have to go to practice shortly. So let me know, guys. I'll be here for a little bit. I'm gonna close the stream for now. But thank you guys, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate it. If you could please share this channel with other people you want their kendo to improve. Help me grow this channel as well. Please hit the like button if you haven't. It really helps these videos to get pushed out to more people and this channel to grow. So guys, Thank you very much for passing by. I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Get some good practice and let me know how that goes, okay? Thank you guys. Thank you very much for passing by. You guys have a good rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.